Hello, LT. Specifically, welcome to the Sophomore Interpersonal Communications Parents. My name is Anna Meyers Cacciatolo, and I have the privilege of having your sophomores for this semester to learn about communication. A little bit of background on me. I have been teaching for 21 years. 19 of them have been at LT. I have two babies of my own. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we are local. So I may see you at the supermarket, right? And I am feeling very privileged, specifically at this point, to be able to be teaching the sophomores about communication. Interpersonal communications is a really amazing course because it's not a speech course. It's about how we communicate, why we communicate, when we communicate, what that looks like, how we can be better listeners, what it means to be an active listener, what it means to hear versus listen, what it means to be a critical listener, what it means to be a critical thinker. It's really an incredible, incredible course. And I love teaching my students who generally love to be on the technological side of communication. I love to teach them about person-to-person communication and intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, public communication, small group communication in particular. And our course covers all of these things. And it covers nonverbal communication, which is 93% of communication. And actually the very first unit that we do is on the communication model. And it looks at things like feedback and feed forward and context and how the context affects, well, a communication experience. And we look at all kinds of examples of communication that went really well and communication that did not go so well. And we analyze why it worked and why it didn't. And it's such a good thing for them to be able to learn, not only as sophomore students, but also just as human beings, right? And how we can better communicate with the world and how we can be better listeners in the world so that will help us in our futures. When it comes to things like grading practices, there's two big terms that you're going to want to know. One of them is summative and one of them is formative. Formative means like little assignments, like homework or practice. And then summative is the big assignments, the ones that will count for a grade and make up the majority of the course. So the formative assignments, the small ones, don't count toward the grade. However, when it comes to summatives, the big assignments, my students are able to redo their summatives to be able to show growth. But in order to earn the right to redo a summative, you need to have completed all the formatives. Basically, I tell the kids it's akin to making sure that you are at practice for your sport, or you practice your musical instrument, or you're at practice for your plays before the actual performance. And so that's kind of what this is. The formatives are all of the practices that lead up to the actual performance in the end, the one that counts, the summative one that makes up the grades. We have obviously made changes this year because clearly at this point we are remote, and so the speeches and such will be practiced online. And we will also be encouraging students to practice with people at home, with one-on-one individuals, so that they can get the feel of performing or practicing with other people face-to-face. We will obviously have them doing their speeches and or practicing in breakout rooms online as well, because it's absolutely valuable. So we're going to try to involve all of it so that they feel like they're not only experiencing this course on Zoom, but also in other ways. If you guys have questions, feel free to contact me at any time. Email is the best way to get a hold of me. My name is Anna, so the best way to get a hold of me is the first letter of my first name. So it's A. Meyers, Meyers, @lths.net. And you can email me anytime and I will do my best to get back to you. I do want to acknowledge that I know that this is different and that this is not what any of us were expecting. But I want to tell you, like I tell my kiddos, that we want to create a community of support so that we can all do hard things together. Sending you much love and much support in these crazy times.